Hello, my name is Francis Fox. I'm a trained remote viewer. I am aligned with my mission in this incarnation, which is to have access to all these psychic skills and superpowers in order to be able to acquire information, in order to share it with you so that life will be easier. And that's what I'm doing. We have an interesting happening at this time, which is what is it? Hurricane Milton? I believe it's Hurricane Milton. And it seems to be pointed at Central Florida. Most modern people don't know that natural catastrophes are purifications. And if humanity gets wiped off the face of the planet, it's because we needed a purification. And whoa, I think most of us agree that we do. So I have not looked it up, but before Hurricane Helene, the Mantrista group and I worked on South Carolina because we felt that that was where there could be more trouble. And I don't seem to be seeing much in the news about South Carolina being in such terrible shape. The areas that we didn't work on are doing very poorly. That could be a total coincidence. Total coincidence. But I find it interesting because we have found in many other instances that when we have balanced out the elements by purifying something, there appears to be a change. So let's talk about Hurricane Milton, who is headed directly towards Central Florida. If you have a hurricane, it means that you need a purification. The direction that the hurricane spins in is counterclockwise, which is the direction the root chakra spins in, which has to do with purifying, grounding, and landing. If your root chakra is doing well and spinning in the correct direction, which is opposite of the movement of the clock, it's very hard to have spirits. And basically, that's in the Lord's Prayer, the original one in Aramaic. So if you're getting a hurricane, it means you need a purification. You need to get grounded. You need to get landed. Water puts out fire. And we know this from Chinese medicine. It's a fact, but we also know it from Chinese medicine, to where it is known that the diseases that are in excess fire, such as cancer, water can help to put that out. In metaphysics, water is emotions. And cancer is a disease of not expressing extreme rage together with impotence. Something that makes you so angry and you're impotent. So you just kind of throw up your hands and you don't deal with it. You think you walk away, you don't walk away. It's inside of you. It's got a location in your body, and that location can end up having cancer. So if we're getting a hurricane, we need to get grounded and landed, and we need to put out fire. It's just that simple. Shamanism is very simple, but it's so simple that it's like people don't really believe it. I mean, it can't be that simple. Yes, it can. I remember years ago, and I've said this story before, I met somebody who was a marketing genius. He actually was the one who created the campaign, a Stainmaster. Brilliant man. And he said he wanted to help me having to do with my skills and putting it out in the business world. And then after me reading several businesses for him, he said, "Listen, you got a problem." I went, "Okay." He said, "What you do is too simple. You can't do that. It's just too simple. And people would just have a hard time accepting it's that simple." Okay. Then and he kind of made a suggestion for me to run around the block and just tell people, "Okay, so that's your problem. No problem. I'll get back to you in a week with a report." When I already had the answer, "I'll get back to you in a week with a report." And he told me a story about somebody that was a specialist, a consultant. There was a nuclear plant that was leaking, and they brought in all sorts of people, and they could not find where it was leaking from. They finally contracted this man, and he found it in 5 minutes. And he sent them a bill for $300,000. And they said, "We don't understand. It took you 5 minutes." And basically, this person was telling me, that's your problem, Francis. You can do it in 5 minutes. You don't have to run around the universe. And people have a hard time with that. Shamanism, it's the same thing. It doesn't even take 5 minutes because the basic laws are there. Water puts out fire. So if you're getting a hurricane with a lot of water, then there's a lot of fire in Central Florida. What's in Central Florida? We have Disney, which is going down the tubes, but we have Trump. I think where he lives is not South Florida. I think it's Central Florida or right there. You have the launch pads for off planet shuttles. Elon Musk does some of his launches from there. And those are two men that I think have got to be incredibly angry because of what's being done to them. They are incredible examples of what people should be at this time in terms of helping other people, in terms of that being the core of their focus. And people are attacking them and trying to kill Trump and also Elon. We don't hear so much about that because apparently they haven't gotten that close to where he would have had the kind of close call that Trump had. And then to find out that it might be an insider job is even more angering. So I suspect that this hurricane has to do with putting out the rage of these two men and the people around them. And I think there's also other stuff going on. Central Florida, the part where you have the Tampa, then you have Disney, and then you have the space shuttle. That area, it has a portal. That's why the space shuttle is there. Of course, they would never say that. And maybe they don't know that, but I suspect they must. That makes it easier to get off planet. And perhaps there's stuff going on with that. I don't know. Here's the point. If we can put out the fire in Central Florida through visualizations, the glacier technique, the mantra music video called Agni, which I have up for several hours on X, and YouTube always takes it down. They said, that's not your music. You know, we have copyright issues. That's the music Mateo Cuaron did for me, for the Mantrista movement. Yes, it is my music. But anything an excuse not to have this kind of content up. So if we can reduce the fire, we don't need the hurricane. And miraculously, the hurricane will dissipate. I had somebody that was very powerful in Buddhism, not a monk, years ago, right after a hurricane was supposed to have hit, that I saw. She said, I think I stopped the hurricane. She said, I'm only telling you because I think you might be able to hear this and not think I'm crazy. And I said, yeah, I believe that you can. We can do that as human beings. And that's actually what I'm here to teach you. But before we get into that, let me take an aside having to do with my personal story and sex trafficking and what's going on. I want to shout out to two people, which is Maide Morin and Apin Fernandez, which are kind of related to my family. She works for Homeland Security. I don't know who he works for now. And they're related to Rene de Villegas. So I just wanted to suggest that they might want to take care of themselves because they might be getting in harm's way with the kind of activities they're getting involved in that are the kind of activities that they may not have wanted to get involved in. They could be mind control victims. But I just wanted to suggest, and maybe I'm saving their lives by saying their names on camera. I'm not accusing them of anything. And they can certainly contact me if they want. I don't think they will. I'm just suggesting that they pay attention to what it is that they're doing because a lot of people are paying attention to what they're doing and will be noticing. So maybe I can save them and their family a lot of grief by just shouting out to them and saying, hey, pay attention because you're being paid attention to. Do you think that wall that you put up energetically, people can't see past it? Anyway, I may have saved a life, by the way. And if I did, I cannot talk to you about it later. But I may have saved a life by saying this. Okay. They're related to My handler, Renee De Villegas, who, man, did it take me a long time to get out from under that man, and he is still struggling to try to get me back under control. And I worry that he's in control of these two people. Not a pretty picture. Okay, back to hurricanes. I'm going to read you an article that I wrote that includes a message from Hurricane Katrina from 2005 as a backdrop to this hurricane that looks like it's going to hit Florida. Remember that I'm in Miami. Very interesting that Miami has not been hit by hurricanes for the last several years. And usually we're like front and center. What does that mean? It means that we haven't needed the purification. How can that be? We're a karmic, we are Scorpio in astrology. We are connected to the karma of the United States. I think perhaps we have thrashed through a lot of issues in Miami having to do with, let's see, what do I call it without getting myself in trouble? Without having to do with all this darkness, having to do with the sex trafficking and all the rest of that. I'm not saying everything is over with, but Diddy has a house here, and we haven't heard an awful lot about that. And I don't think it's that people are sitting on it. Okay. I think we may have worked through a lot of that. I hope. But anyway, let me read you this article, and this is the link to it for you to look it up because it may be very helpful for you at some point in the future. You can be protected in the middle of chaos. You can have everything around you collapse and you can be fine. As I told you for the first time, we are not in a collective reality on planet Earth. You can have create your individual reality. This would be very important now in end times. So here is what I wanted to say. Savi Mantrita, thank you, Savi Mantrita. You read the article. Let me read you the article here. Okay? Okay. Hurricane Katrina was August the 30th, 2005. And I think Katrina came in the next day. So this is, let me read it. I wrote this on August the 30th. Free will is the strongest law and right we have as human beings. Free will based on limited information cannot compare to the right use of will when we have information from other dimensions that influence the reality of our lives on the physical dimension. We need to know or be reminded that natural catastrophes are purifications. I need to get that statement to Elon Musk. Free will based on limited information cannot compare to the right use of will when we have information from other dimensions. That's the whole thing with free speech. Okay. On Tuesday night, August the 30th, 2005, I spoke to Hurricane Katrina. I can speak telepathically to anything that has consciousness. So I spoke to Katrina. Oh my God, I feel like crying. She said she was tired. Catastrophes, elements have consciousness. Anyway, she said she was tired, and this is the rest of what she said. So this is the message of Hurricane Katrina, of why water, this is the message. Water is for clearing and cleansing, and that is why I came. This event, this cleansing, will cause people in this country to open their hearts with compassion, and that is necessary. This country needs to turn inward to pay attention to what is happening within the country and to open its heart. Why? Because in the future, this country will be in a place of deciding whether to use nuclear weapons. It is important that the heart of this country be open at that time. Isn't that interesting? So I didn't speak to Milton. I just decided to go ahead and do what we should be doing. If you have a lot of water coming in, that means there's too much fire. What is fire? Anger, frustration. So let me look at my notes and let's go ahead and put up the Agni mantra music. And I would like for you to do a visualization in which you are visualizing the state of Florida under cascading cold water, or the entire state of Florida in an igloo, blocks of ice. And the mantra is going to be the same mantra that I put up today that YouTube took down because they said I didn't own the music, and I do. And they know that. That's registered, but what can I tell you? So this is the mantra. Give me a second. I have it here. I wonder if I can do this. Hold on. This would be nice if I could do this. This is, okay. So we're going to do this for 10 minutes, and you're going to visualize Florida underneath this cascading water or inside an igloo. You repeat the mantra in silence. You expel the breath through your mouth. Okay? And just relax. This is shamanism, what we just did with modern technology on a chat, on the internet, with Wi Fi. It's shamanism. You don't need the actual water to put out fire. The elements have a presence in all the different dimensions. And the easiest way to deal with them is to work in the other dimensions where it doesn't have to be physical. The catastrophe is on the physical dimension with physical water putting fire that's in the other dimensions. Because if you look at Florida, you're not going to see any, there are no wildfires. Trump and Elon are not burning up on the outside on the physical dimension. I took the time to speak to Milton, Hurricane Milton. And this is what Hurricane Milton has to say, and it makes all the sense in the world to somebody like me, who is a shaman. I just did this now during this purification. Speaking with Hurricane Milton, I am here. This is a hurricane answering me. I am here to warn of danger to the magic duo. The magic duo is Trump and Elon. But let me show you something before I continue. This is the map of energies of the United States. So if you lay the map of the United States on top of this map that you're seeing on screen, which is the Bagua, Florida is the bottom right, which is, the benefactors. And another way of saying it is helpful friends. And what is Elon Musk and Trump? Helpful friends. In the rally yesterday for Trump, people were enjoying how much joy Elon had. It's an incredible friendship. In the part of the United States that corresponds to benefactors and helpful friends. So it's like perfect. The symbolism is perfectly symbolic of the reality. But both these men are too frustrated. I really don't care if they get angry at me if they hear that I said this. There is no way they're not a human being. They are human beings. They have a spirit astral body, which is the emotional body. There is no way that they're not angry at everything that's going on. There's just no way. But let me read the rest of the message that Milton has to say because it's pretty dramatic. This is Milton, the hurricane, speaking to me. You can talk to earthquakes too. You can talk to anything. It's your belief system that stops you. But I'm not going to get off on that tangent. Milton says, I'm here to warn of danger to the magic duo, that's Trump and Elon. If they do not reduce their internal fire, they will burn up internally, which is they're going to get sick physically. That makes sense. Well, I'm getting sick just from my stuff, and it's like 1,000 times less than what they're dealing with. They will burn up internally and get sick, as they are also attracting more fire, as in more attacks, hate, and literally bombs, BOMBS. So maybe somebody is planning on bombing an event. I've always worried about bombing when Elon launches missiles. So I'm going to read it again. Hurricane Milton says, I'm here to warn of danger to the magic duo, Trump and Elon, who are in Florida. They do not reduce their internal fire. They will burn up internally and get sick, as they are also attracting more fire, as in attacks, hate, and literally bombs. He continues to say, Milton, it is so easy, too easy to accept, but even one person can reduce the fire. But they need to do it by Tuesday, which is tomorrow, or the magic duo's plans will be useless. So apparently, we need to get this done quickly tonight, because tomorrow's Tuesday, and something is going to happen, and Trump and Elon's plans will be useless. Interesting. I'm kind of glad that I spoke to Milton. So, this is white magic. This is shamanism. This is superpowers. But you didn't even get out of your chair. You didn't spend a penny, and you probably did not move a muscle. And yet, we could have been changing the destiny of this country and of these two men and of all the rest of us, because the way they go is the way, we go. Simple, because it's the human mind working with the elements, which is how reality is created. And if we could get all the bad guys out of the way, I could get that darn book out there and you could read it start to finish and understand more details and probably be overwhelmed. But you don't need to be overwhelmed because I just taught you. I just showed you. And with technology, like right now, after this chat, I go into this chat in Spanish and we usually get several hundred people. And this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be reducing the fire in Florida, except I think we're going to reduce it in these two men also. And maybe change the destiny of this country. There won't be bombs. And again, so simple that it's like, yeah, that's not possible. Yes, it is possible. It's the basic laws of the planet. It's not just possible, it's real. But it's okay if you don't believe it. Just do it. How's that? So I'm going to give you the link to that video, and you should have it on all night. And you should tell your God that this is for, let's see, is this the one? Yes, here we go. That this is to reduce the fire in Florida and in Trump and Elon Musk. If they get mad at me, it's okay. There's the link. Okay? So we will see you again tomorrow. Remember, I'm on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I can't do 5 days. It's a lot. But if something really interesting happens, I will be on additionally. Okay? Please put the video on and put it on like it's a 10-hour video and just keep rolling it. Just keep rolling it. Okay? Thank you for